All right, we're going to go ahead and finish getting started. Except for Brad is going to do devotions and he has disappeared. All right, so let's skip forward. We'll come back to Brad's devotion and we'll read our vision and mission statements, and they are on page 5. All right. We will start with our vision statement. Palestine Lutheran Church will be a haven for all generations, a people worshiping and growing continually in relationship with Jesus, inspired by God's word, a living example of stewardship, a loving and caring fellowship that reaches out in Christ-centered faith and love to the world. Palestine Lutheran Church exists to proclaim and live God's holy word, to nurture and support our membership, and to enable us to live our faith in our daily lives. As we are nourished, we are called to reach out to our communities, our spheres of influence, and to the wider world through the church at large. All right, Brad, we'll go back to your devotion.
That's all right. So, my devotion this morning is on being grateful. Perhaps one of the most frequently asked questions is, how are you? Some common responses are okay, pretty good, fine, doing all right, I can't complain. Then there are those who, when they're asked how they are, they go on and tell you more than you expected to hear or really cared to know. When asked, how are you, why not try this answer? I'm grateful. You may be hurting, you may be troubled, you may be carrying a heavy burden, but there's always something for which to be grateful. There is, for example, the love of Jesus that doesn't change, the forgiveness that he freely offers, and all of his wonderful promises that never fail. Then, of course, there are family, friends, and many other rich blessings. Yes, you can be grateful for what you have, but you can also be very thankful for what you do not have. I guess let me explain. A number of years ago, a married couple approached their pastor about a special gift of money they wanted to give to the Lord for some specific project at the church. As they explained, we want to give this gift to the Lord for what we do not have. Not only were they mindful of the manifold blessings that they had received from the hand of the Lord, but they were also very mindful of many things from which they had been spared. They were grateful and wanted to express their gratitude with a gift of love to the Lord, who had kept them to experience certain crosses, losses, or whatever. You know, I look back at these last couple years, and we could focus on some of the losses we've had, and it's been a troubling couple years. But instead, I guess I'm going to choose to be grateful. You know, I'm very grateful that even though we had a derecho, we had COVID, we had all these different things, that God gave us the gift of Keith and Arlene Wee. God gave us the gift of Mark Pote to come help. God gave us the gift of Story Construction. God gave us many gifts to get through it. You know, there were some losses, there were some problems, there were things that we could probably be down about and continue to talk about. But if you look at all of it, God gave us something to be grateful for instead. So that's my devotion for today. So if you'll pray with me. Dear Lord, thank you for all the things that we have, and also thank you for all the things that we do not have. And help me to try and always be grateful for all the things that you give us and the things that you don't give us. Amen.
All right, let's move on to the secretary minutes from last annual meeting. We'll need a motion to approve the minutes. Chris Richter, and second, Mark Pote. All right. So let everybody in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Okay. The motion was passed unanimously. All right. So next up will be our pastor's report.
I think my pastor's report sort of, I think, echoes a little bit of what I hope the motion that Brad was sharing about just being aware this year of, being thankful. And this last kind of give us an opportunity to be able to consider what people. Hopefully you're hearing that too. And I just want to give God praise and thanks for that.
Thank you. All right, so our next agenda item is our elections. The first part of our elections are going to be committees. So you can see the committees on page 9. We have several committees, so I think it would be in our best interest to go ahead and make a motion to vote on all the committees on one vote, if everyone is okay with that. Chris, you want to make that motion?
Motion we do all committees on one vote.
Perfect. Second? Okay. I saw Bruce, and then, okay, we'll do Bruce, so I saw him first. All right, everybody in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passed unanimously. All right, so just need to vote on the committees. So can I get a motion to vote that, just a vote? Okay.
Just vote on the committee.
Yeah, sorry, just a vote. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed to the people on the committee? Okay, motion passed unanimously.
Real quick, people online, if you want to go ahead and just put your name online in the comments section, and if you want to vote, that's fine, we'll count your vote. If you just put your name and say, I vote yes, no. So, Brent, if there's any no's, point them out to us, please.
All right, so you can also see the council positions that are presented. We have listed for our congregational council this year, Haley Clark, David Eisenman, oh, that was that last year? Brent Emerson, yeah, those are all the last ones, but, oh, on your ballot. Sorry, on your ballot, I'm looking at the other one. So on your ballot, you will be able to see maybe page, oh, I went farther instead of back. Sorry, flipping, I should have looked on. Anyway, you'll see the people listed. And so we're gonna go ahead and make a motion to approve the council as a whole, if that's okay with you. So sure.
So I believe Deb is finishing out the term of Chris Richter. who is going to president. Well, you'd be all, okay. And that might be, you're right, that could be. I guess I don't know that answer either. I think you're
Yeah.
finishing out the term of Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, Jean. It's-
Correct, we don't need to re-vote them in.
Yeah,
These are all the new ones. Yeah, if they're already on council, right?
yeah,
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep. And so with Chris moving up, we had to fill the position with Deb.
all right, so if anyone wants to make a motion that we vote to approve all the council's positions as presented. Louise? Okay, Louise Larson made a motion to present, or to approve all the council positions as presented. I need a second. All right, Nell's second. Let's vote, or all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, anyone opposed? Okay, motion passed unanimously. So the next job we have is to vote on the president, the vice president, and the secretary as individuals. So as you can see, the person on the ballot is Chris Richter for president. So we'll need a motion to approve it, right? Or a vote,
No,
just a vote.
So, yeah, we need to ask if there's any nominations from the floor.
Oh, that's right. Any nominations from the
If anybody
floor?
wants to run against Chris. If not, then we vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone want to run against Chris? Nobody knocks down anybody's doors for this job. All right, all in favor, say aye. All right, anyone opposed? Okay. All right, we'll move on to vice president, and that was listed as David Eisenman.
Are there any nominations from the floor for vice president?
Right? Let's have a vote. Everyone in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passed unanimously, or voted in unanimously. All right, our secretary is still Brad. Anyone want to do that job?
You can.
All right, any nominations? All right, we'll have a vote for Brad to be the secretary. Everyone in favor say aye. Aye. All right.
I'm
Motion-
opposed.
Any, nope. One person opposed, the person doing the job. All right, so everything has passed for the ballot, and we'll move on to the treasurer's report.
Yeah. You
Brad's
want to come
gonna
use
do
this
it?
mic?
Oh, what? Did I miss? Oh. Yeah, we started with him.
You see the treasurer's report that the income was for 21, 7,300. Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. 7,466.35, and the expenses were $661,651.51. The balance as of January 1st was $21,469.84, and you can see the breakdown where the money is at. And the building loan and general fund loan balances were paid off at the end of the year. Are there any questions or concerns?
All right, should we, let's make a motion to pass the treasurer's report? Chris? Okay, and a second from Jen Pote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And anyone opposed? All right. All right, so, let's see, sorry, back to the agenda. Our next is the audit committee report, and Brad is going to talk about that.
Two things. Mike Thomas and I, we've gone through all the books. Everything looks good. Next year, we do need 2 new people to do it. It's not that Mike and I don't want to do it, but it's not a healthy thing to have the same people doing it year after year after year. So I really actually would like to entertain 2 people to volunteer to do this next year. I don't, was that, did we do that on our committee? Is that already handled? Is it? Nope. So that's something that we definitely need to be doing. It's just something that's healthy for the church to have 2 new people doing it. Mike and I have done it, I think, 3 years now. Before that, Lyle Martin did it. Lyle and Gary Wirtz did it for probably about 6 years. And, you know, it's healthy to rotate that and have people checking to make sure that everything's how it should be. So, anybody want to volunteer? Anybody? Matt Williams looks like he's volunteering. Oh, okay. Okay, so council, we'll make sure we appoint that. Perfect. Matt Williams did volunteer, though. Perfect. We'll handle that at our retreat. Okay. But yes, everything's in order. You want me to just
All right,
jump straight into the budget?
That's it? Yep, well, yeah, Brad's going to go over the budget. The budget for next year looks really good, and we ended the year really good, so, and we were able to pay those loans off, so that was a really positive thing. They're not they've been, since I've been president, they've been looming over our head a little bit, and now they are paid off, so that's a really positive thing.
So if you will turn to your booklets, page 18 through 22 is the budget. So last year, we increased our budget to $243,000, I'm sorry, from $243,000 in 2020 to $250,911. We ended up only spending $233,625 of that. We like to put in some buffer in the budget so that we don't ever go over budget. And so when you see that there's some line items that don't get spent every year, that's a good way for us to put in those buffers. But the other thing is those line items at some point in the last 20, 25 years, we've actually spent that at some point, but we don't spend it every year, but it's nice that it gives us kind of a buffer zone. So this year, the Finance Committee recommends that we up the worship materials budget from $3,000 to $4,000. We also are going to up the insurance that we carry up to $9,000. That's gone up just a little bit. We want to up the media support to $2,500 to cover the expenses for Facebook, live stream, and the different things that we're doing there. And then we're going to up the church maintenance to $8,500. That increase, $3,500 of that is going to come from the endowment that we're setting up with the leftovers from the WE fund, and actually we're going to get a little bit of money from the John Johnson estate, and we're going to put that in there, and that should give us interest roughly in that $3,500 range every year, and so we're going to use that to help increase the budget, because one of the things that we discovered in the last 20 years is we've done a really good job of putting off maintenance, and we'd like to not put off maintenance. And I as I said in my devotion, Mark's doing a great job. Over the years, we've had some really, the Lowell Elliott's, the Ordine Johnsons, the Mike Larsons, they've done a great job of doing that, but they didn't have a budget. And so, or not a very big budget, I'm sorry. They did have a budget, but not a very big budget. And so we want to increase that so that we don't have to put off some of the little maintenances that end up causing big expenses. We also recommend a 3% increase for the staff, and so when we get to the end of the budget, we need to have a motion for the 3% increase for the staff, and then we'll have a motion to approve the budget. This year, the church received $240,000 from the We estate. I have to tell you, there aren't too many gifts in this church that probably has affected my life more than that gift. There was a point, it was probably even a little bit before last year. It was in the fall of 2020 when the derecho had hit, and this was demolished. The insurance company said it could be 3 months before we even get to look at it. And we've got water raining in, pouring in. Church was not going to be in good standing. And if we had left that for 3 months, I can't imagine the damage that would have been done. Not long after that, we received a check, or we received actually the statement from the attorney that this is how much you were going to get from the We estate and when you would get it. And so we decided to go ahead and make a contract with Story Construction, knowing what we were getting from that, and fix things right away, get a new roof on it. That was huge. Had that not shown up, I'm not sure what we would have done. We'd have gone to the bank, or we'd have probably dipped into the mail-in fund or something, but that was a huge thing in our church at that point. I don't think people realize how big that was. And I mean, I can't thank them enough for their gift. And it makes our financial standing, you know, you look at where we're at right now, we're probably in the best shape that I've ever seen us as a church right now. Actually, as of today, we have $20,000 in our general fund. We have $37,000 in our memorial fund. We have $365,000 in the mail-in fund. We're setting up an endowment that has $80,000 in it that's going to be used for maintenance. You know, we're probably in the best shape I've ever, and we've paid off our loan. We're debt-free. We don't have any debt in this church. I think that's pretty unheard of right now in the church community. You go and ask any church around here, and they're going to say that their budget's backwards, their general fund's negative, their memorials have been spent, and they're trying to find ways to raise money to figure out how to survive. We're not in that boat. We have to be extremely grateful for where we're at right now. So if you read in the report, I also talk about the different things that were done. I break down how the money broke out. But all in all, I just want to thank everybody for providing us with the gifts that we have been. It's been a true gift to be able to come to church the last 2 years, and it's been a true gift to be able to not worry about how we were going to pay for things. And that's something that's unheard of right now. So with that,
Brad, I have a question.
okay.
Doreen Blackman is asking, why is the farm ground revenue coming down?
So we did not receive the farm ground income this year. Leonard is on that and chasing it to find out why we did not get that check. That check did not show up this year. And we're finding out why. Obviously, with Monsanto being bought out by Bayer, apparently there's been a slip in that, and that's something that we did catch during the audit process. And I talked to Leonard about it, and Leonard has reached out to him. I don't know, do you have any update, Leonard? So Leonard has visited with them, but has not received an answer. So we're now dealing with a multi-international company that probably is going to mess with us. But anyway, so we'll figure that out. But yes, that is why the farm income's way down right now.
Hey, Brad,
Yes.
it might be useful.
Okay, so Tim Wilson's question is, or wants me to remind everybody what can be used for general fund and what can't be used for general fund. So we'll start with the general fund. Obviously, we have $20,000 in the general fund. That could be used for any expenses out there. The memorial, the $37,000 in memorials, there has to be a request from the church for a specific need, and if that memorial has been left for that. For example, right now, Gary Thompson and his wife left us, I think it was $20,000 to be used for projects and field trips, something to that effect for students. And so if we had a need for that, that's what that would be. It could not be used for general fund. The Mayland Fund is a little bit different. It can be used in a lot of different ways, but we have to get approval from the Mayland Fund Committee for whatever those needs are. The WE endowment that we're setting up, that is specifically for building maintenance. That's what they left their money for, was to be used for maintenance on the church. So all three of those funds really don't ever go into the general fund. We'd have to have a pretty extreme situation, I think, to reach out to that. So those are more for the building, if you want to call it that. Any other questions? Any other questions about the budget? I guess I skipped over so our budget for the year will be $261,743. We expect to spend about $240 of that, just so you know. That's usually about where it is, but that gives us about a $20,000 cushion in case we have an unexpected electrical bill or an unexpected cleaning bill. Last year I think we had a higher cleaning bill, or 2020 we had a higher cleaning bill because we were sanitizing and doing some of that. It gives us some room so we don't have to have a congregational meeting to ask to be able to pay bills. This year, mice
Yeah.
control, right?
Deep breath.
Are there any other questions about the budget? If not, can I entertain a motion to raise the staff's, or give the staff a 3% raise? Which, by the way, we are in contract, at least with Pastor, to do that. So, Chris Richter.
Jean? All right. Everybody in favor say aye. All right. Anybody opposed? All right. Motion passed unanimously. All right. Our next one to approve is the budget overall for 2022. So I need a motion to approve the budget. Candy? I need a second. Jeff. Okay. Jeff Van Pelt. All right. Everybody in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Motion passed unanimously. So we have a couple simple things, one in new business and one in old business. The first is we kind of want to talk about within the next couple of years a tech position. Before I talk about that, I want to talk about Brent, who has not missed a Sunday for probably 2 years since we started our live streaming. So we have a little gift for him, just because it's a small gift for all the time and effort that he's put in. So I'll give that to him after church. But really, he has spent a lot of time and effort, and so let's just give him a round of applause. And with that, I think one of the things is that it would be nice for Brent to have some respite, as I call it at work. So if I know Candy has sat in and worked with him, and she assures me it's not too threatening or hard. So if you are a person who would want to do something like that, it might be a great thing to volunteer your time, and you can talk to Brent about it. I have a sign-up Genius, so if I may just send that out, and you can sign up to help on Sundays. And because, kind of like Brad said, we don't want to, tax our resources. So Brent has been awesome to do it. So, and he's a good teacher too, so he can teach you how to do it. But it also brings up that in the next couple of years, we may want to look into a tech position.
Well, the thing that, and this is why we just put it in there, is going forward the next few years, 5 years, 10 years, that position's probably going to end up having to be a paid position. I don't see that we'll always have a volunteer to do that. Right now, we're blessed with Brent doing this. We're blessed that Candy's willing to try it and that, but eventually, I don't know if you guys see it as I see it, it's not a position that's coveted, and it's going to probably be a position we're going to have to eventually expand, and it'll eventually probably be a paid position. And so that's something why we just kind of put it in here so we can start talking about it as we go forward and eventually talk about budgets and how that's going to work. Right now, we're getting by, but as tech becomes a more included thing in our worship and it continues to expand, that's just what we foresee. And right now I don't think we need to worry about it. Like I say, we're blessed with, and I can't thank Brent enough, and I hate to throw that at him and say that I expect him to do it that way, but it's something we got to start talking about. So, yeah, we can. We probably just passed a budget without it, so we probably need to. If you want to revisit that, we could. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or-
But yeah, obviously, if you guys as a congregation want to vote to do that, you're more than welcome to. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, real quick, go ahead, Jen. So, and I think that's where your motion probably needs to go, is that you motion that we investigate of what it would take to create a tech position. That's probably where we need to go with it. We don't know what those numbers are, and to do that. Yeah. So Brent is saying he'd like us to defer on that for right now because he does not want us to investigate that right now. Brent, I think if I sum up, Brent's saying that he does not want to be paid right now. This is a gift he'd like to provide. So,
Can we investigate it and see where we get the funds?
yep.
Mm-hmm. And that it could be, and also maybe that it's an agenda item added for next year's meeting as well, or even the council to tax. Yeah. Yeah.
Correct. Dick, this is what I wrote up for your motion. Dick Kepler is motioning to investigate what creating a tech position would entail. And Nell seconded.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passed unanimously, so we will,
And then, on old business for future.
all right. So we're going to add that to the agenda, and we can talk about that. All right. Thank you for that discussion. So our next is old business, and we have just kind of the balcony update. It's kind of, I feel like it's like the last thing standing after the derecho. So it's kind of the last incomplete thing that we have. Besides the mice, whatever, all the time I see them. So,
Nels
Nels has an estimate, and he's maybe going to talk about it, and then we'll talk about the other kind of costs that it will entail.
So, if you look in the old, the minutes, it was we needed to come up with a recommendation. So we had a committee with several members on it that came up with recommendations for how the organ could work, and that kind of, Brad actually ended up kind of taking care of that. We found someone to fix the organ, and then we were also thinking about how we could use this space the best, where the piano should go, and what to do in the back there, and we came up with several ideas. And the recommendation was, really the idea with the back of the balcony was, do we want to have that be seating where you can have a line of sight to the church always, or do we want to have it be something where we can put risers up and have line of sight to the front of the church sometimes? And how does that space want to be used? And that, so we kind of gave two different recommendations there, and that's where that's at. And then I also have numbers on, part of that was the sound system was hit by lightning at some point in the past 20 years, and there's some parts of it that are broken and can't be repaired. So I have an estimate that was made in April for how much it would cost to get that repaired, and then just increase our ability to mic different things and have a full range speaker put in. And so in April, that would have cost $18,000, and then so that would be like hardware type stuff, and that's installed, it would cost that much. And then there was a whole bunch of other items like getting some wheels that we could put underneath the piano if it was up here so it could move, the cost of doing that, mic stands and cables, and so that'd probably be about another $9,000. So we have those kind of numbers now. I'm sure that they've changed since April, but that's where we're at with that. So I guess it would go to property committee to figure out how to move that forward, or if there needs to be a committee that gets put together to make this stuff happen. Oh, and we've been waiting on the electric, so Brad can talk about that.
And Brad's going to talk about that.
Yep.
So there's a big tower up there, yeah, and some of the components in there.
So, and at that time in April, we had asked actually Nelson Electric to give us a price on that. The person who came out and walked through everything with us, and he ended up retiring apparently. And so we had a new person come walk through us, and he's supposed to be giving Mark a bid. I know that we've met with him a couple times, walked him through again, and we're supposed to be getting a bid on what the electric is. Hopefully we have that soon. It's been a struggle getting a bid for electric, but we wanted to use Nelson because they just did a lot of the rewiring during the derecho. They know kind of where we're at right now. Instead of starting from scratch with a whole new company, it seemed to make sense, but like if you know many electricians right now, I think they're pretty overwhelmed right now. So we've tried to be patient. Correct, yep. What's that? Correct. We've got some of the power issues taken care of during the derechos, during our remediation, whatever you want to call it, whatever we did when we fixed it. We upgraded some of the electric then at that point. And so some of that's taken care of already, but there's some things that still we have to finish upstairs to fit what they want to do, where the soundboard would go, where the different controls for everything would go. And the same thing up here, there's a couple outlets that we'd have to change out. So we're supposed to be getting a bid on that right now. So the other thing is we did get a price from Story to do some of the little woodworking items that we would do to build a desk for the sound stand and that. And their bid on that was like $4,200, so that wasn't bad. So that's something we need to get compiled to the property committee, and then the property committee would investigate how we're going to fund it and some of that. So, yeah.
Would part of the sound system update include
So Tim
like
Wilson
it.
asked if the sound system upgrade would be to where we could hear the whole congregation sing, so that we don't have to rely on Nels to sing so that they can hear online. Nels, I guess I'm going to defer that to you.
Yeah, so we can have an ambient mic put in here, but then that would require
Nels gave a very long answer, which was good. The short answer for people online is no, I don't think we have that in this bid to put in a sound system. It'll give us the capability to do it, but we're not actually doing it. Okay. 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 Yes, we can do both parts. I'm not sure we had them in the bid, both parts. Right, okay, gotcha.
All right, so at this point, we were thinking about the motion, right? Okay,
Summarize.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's a couple ways to look at it, and we need to kind of really hammer out what it is going to cost, because the money, we will have to look at how we're going to raise the money for it. So, because, some of those costs are not things that are memorial or general fund, that type of thing. So at this time, we'll just, the update as it stands, and then we will get back together with Nels and the committee and find out what the final amount of money will be. And then if it's needed, we would approve, we will have a congregational meeting at some point to approve spending that type of money and talk about where it might come from or fundraisers for it. So,
Last unfinished business or old business is,
Yeah.
Doreen wants to talk about raising the scholarship from $100
Yep.
to $200.
so so Doreen had texted Lisa and wanted to raise the scholarship that we give college students from $100 to $200, since, nothing really costs $100 anymore. And so if we can have some discussion about that, or someone can make a motion. There's a couple.
I'm going to guess Doreen made that motion.
Well, oh yeah, Doreen made a motion, I guess. So then if anyone, Chris wants to second it. Chris wants to second it. So we're going to vote on it. So all in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, awesome. So our last thing to do is to, we're going to adjourn the meeting.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I think we need to, yes.
All right. Jen, she said, well, so Cynthia just had talked about the need for a janitor in the cleaning services. Our balcony, she said, is very dusty and dirty. And, even though we haven't really finished it, the doors and the windows aren't clean. And, people are sitting up there. So it is.
So I know Mark and I've talked about increasing some of that for the cleaning company on what to do. We've kind of kept them away from some of that because we felt it was a waste to have them go in and clean the different things if we're just going to have construction going on and tearing it back up. I think we're talking about adding the basement. I don't know if we've added it yet, but I know that's in process. The upstairs, I think as we finish the balcony and get carpet down, I think that would be a good place. But we definitely could have them do the front half of the balcony, something of that. So that's something Mark and the property committee can talk about, and they can relay the message on to the cleaning company. So. Antique dirt. I love that. The antique dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's dirt from a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
a
it
new,
looks
that's a
like-
new term I'm going to start using is antique dirt. I like
So
that.
it looks like we need to come in and kind of clean that up, so.
Antique dirt.
Antique dirt.
Well, so I don't think you realize how much work Kristen's put in the last 3 years. She's led us through probably some of the toughest things that this church has seen. I mean, the derecho obviously was a extreme event. Going through COVID, going through the different parts of that has been challenging. So I think we need to thank her. Hold on.
Sure.
So
I agree.
to send Kristen on vacation from being the president, we've got a couple gifts for her. It's we've got some coffee for you and some different things.
thank
so
you.
we want to thank her quite a bit. So if we give her a round of applause. And I think Pastor's got a gift too.
I do too. I do too. It's been, 2 years has been rough. It's a tough job anyway, so thank you so much.
Thank you for the gifts, but I really had a lot of help, so Tim and Brad and Pastor Eric, so in the council, so being supportive, so, it made the job easier some days. Yeah, but thank you. I mean, nobody had to do that. So our last job is to just say, at the council meetings, we always say the Lord's Prayer, so we'll say the Lord's Prayer, and then I'll let the pastor give the closing prayer. So, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done,
on earth as
it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us.
And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. All right. Thank you so
We
much.
need a motion to adjourn
Yep.
after pastor's closing prayer.
Chris?
Perfect.
All right. All in favor, say aye.